there. Simone Shepherd here with my dear friend Janice Saylor, and we're going to talk about travel today. We're going to go on the road again. Okay, so come on a journey with us and let's see what we can find out about our travels.
You got some goodies in that hat?
I've got some goodies in here.
Okay. Oh, well, this is good for you. Planes.
Planes. Yes, I've been on a lot of planes. A lot of planes. It's not my favorite way to travel, but my family is in England. My first plane trip was coming over here in the first place when I was 20. Came by myself. My mom said, you know, if you're going to leave home, she said, I knew you'd do it sometime, but did you have to go so far?
Right.
So,
that's true.
I said, Mom, it's just for a year, but I never went back. So, although I should say I've been back 27 times since I came over. So yes, I've been on a lot of planes.
And you were lonesome for your home. Wasn't it hard for you? I'm going to get a little, teary now. Wasn't it hard for you to leave a country and come to a totally new country?
No, it was exciting.
It was.
I wouldn't have left if it was hard.
Well, but I mean, to get adjusted to the way of life in this country.
Oh, I had no idea how what it was going to be like when I got here. But actually, leaving home was not a problem. Okay, I was at 20, my mom was still running my life, and I needed to get out and do something on my own.
That's right.
So that's what I did. I came over as a nanny, and I had a 1-year contract. And before the year was up, I had met someone because I was a dancer, and I went ballroom dancing, and he was a teacher. And so when the year was up, instead of going home, I stayed and I was teaching dancing. But we're getting off track here.
No, that's okay, because I mean, it involves the plane in the first place.
It was the plane that brought me here, yes.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
I was brought here too by a plane, but I came from Cleveland. And when I got here, it was culture shock altogether.
Oh, absolutely.
So it must have been for you really culture shock.
Oh, totally. I thought I actually chose America because I thought they spoke English here. And then but I found out very quickly, because back in those days, do you remember when we had stockings and you wore a belt with the little doodads that, clipped on to keep your stockings up? And
listen to this, gentleman.
And one of the little buttons had broken, and I needed a new garter belt, but we didn't call them garter belts, okay? So my first day off, I went I was in Jamaica Estates out in Queens, and I took the subway. There's another way to travel, subway. I don't think I put that on the list, but I got out of the subway at Times Square, and there was Gimbel's, right? This incredibly enormous, brilliant store.
Right, oh boy.
And I was in awe. I had never seen anything like it. I came from a small town. I had been born in London, but had only gone back a couple of times and had not done an awful lot of shopping, and they didn't have anything as big as Gimbel's. And I walked in, and I just stood there because there were chandeliers and glitter and lights and everything all over the place. All these cases with the cosmetics and the jewelry and stuff. And I'm just standing there looking at all this stuff. And this wonderful woman in a suit came over and said, "May I help you, madam?" And I said, "Yes, I need suspenders." And she said, "Absolutely, madam. Okay, you go straight through to the back and make a right." I thought, that's easy enough. Okay, so I went right to the back of the store, turned right, and found myself in the men's department.
Of course.
So again, I am standing there looking around, thinking, okay, how did I mess that up? I came straight to the back and made a right. And this wonderful gentleman came over and he said, "May I help you, madam?" I said, "Yes, I need suspenders." "Wonderful," he said. "We have right over here," and he shows me this whole big case of what?
Suspenders.
Yes, of suspenders. And I laughed and I said, "No, this is not what I'm looking for." And I said, I'm new here, just off the plane from England, and suspenders, okay, in England, keep your stockings up. Oh, he said, and it just went from one thing to another. We went to I said, "What you've got here in England, gentlemen hold up their
pants."
Oh, excuse me.
No joking on this show. We don't have time for that interference.
No, it usually takes me a while to clear out the pipes in the morning.
That's not a good
But we just went from suspenders to braces and when we got to braces, I said, this is what guys do with braces. And he said, "Oh, in braces, madam, we put those on our teeth here." And that was my introduction to America. That I had landed.
It's true because you think, you're speaking the language.
Yeah.
But it's different. It still means something different in England than it does here.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, and it was in other things also. It was almost as if someone had gone to England, picked all our favorite phrases, and come back here and made them naughty. I mean, in England,
yeah.
If you tell someone you'll knock them up in the morning, it just means I'll come and get you, as you did this morning.
Right. Well, I had culture shock when I came here. I was from the Midwest, and when I came here, I was that little stupid woman that everybody got ahead of in the supermarket. And I was young, and I had then started having children. I had to raise them here, and I said, well, I'm going to have to raise them to be pushy and forward, or they're going to get stomped on all the way through their life. And I hated that from the beginning, but this is where we live. All right, let's see what other way we could travel. Let's go
Trains.
Oh, I love trains.
I love trains.
I had a train ride from here to Cleveland with my grandson many years ago when he was about 10 or 11. And we took what do you call them, the sleeper room? So we had a bathroom in there. But he was like a teenager, and I wasn't going to go to the bathroom in front of him. So every time I had to go to the bathroom, he had to get out of the car and leave. But we had a lot of fun on that train, and they served us food. And because I don't like to fly, so being on a train was. Right. And your experience on a train, Madame?
My first experience that I remember was when I was in school, and we had a school trip that went up to Stratford-upon-Avon to see a Shakespearean play. And as we were coming back, there was a flood that closed off the rails. Oh. And the train had to stop in the middle of nowhere.
Oh, boy.
And we were there for hours waiting for them to clear the track. And we were all just curled up. It was a train, I don't even know if they have them here, where there was a table and then like two-seater here and a two-seater here on both sides of the train all the way down.
Yeah.
And because I was always the littlest of everything, I was the one who got to curl up on top of the table. Oh. Okay, because it was we were there pretty much all night.
I'm going to wonder about you now. You're climbing on top of tables. I don't know. I think there's some things you haven't told me.
Well, when you've got two people here and two people here, okay, and
you need a place.
Lying down, there's not an awful lot of room to sleep. So I climbed up on the table.
Well, it was a fun experience, and it was a fun experience for my grandson too. And then of course after that, the other ones wanted me to take them somewhere.
Right.
So we had to make different trips. I took one on a cruise. That's a great way to travel. I love that.
That's in here.
And wound up that my grandson couldn't find me.
Oh.
And he went up to the desk and he said, "I think my grandmother's dead." Because I can't find her and the door is locked. I don't even know where I was.
Goodness.
I was somewhere on the, I mean, I didn't go anywhere. I was somewhere, but this is what he did. Was the cruise. And we're going to talk about that later, because that's my favorite thing to do. It's a cruise.
But you have to finish that. Where were you?
I don't know. I all went to like Connecticut and that kind of.
Oh no, I was thinking when they thought you were dead. What would happen to you?
I don't know. I was probably in the casino.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You have to understand, I'm old now, and I'm getting older by the minute, and my brain just seems to go like this. Whoopee!
Oh, you're not alone. I actually find that fascinating, the way the brain will take you on a whole journey of its own. You can be lying there thinking of one thing, and then before you know it, you're in a totally different space thinking about something that happened, 30 years ago.
Yes,
and it just goes from one place to another.
But some of it is good and some of it is bad.
Yes.
So you've got to get some of that good to cover over that bad. I know, I hear you.
I do that a lot in the morning, and if it gets into the bad stuff, I said, okay, time to get up.
Me too. That's one of the problems.
Yes.
I get up in the morning with this thinking of something awful, All right, we're not going to talk awful. Let's go to another way of travel, because hotels.
Oh, I have stories?
Oh, God. Okay, I'm gonna listen to this.
You and I were both at some time on the road selling our merchandise.
Yes.
And
please rephrase that. Oh. We were both on the road selling merchandise, not our merchandise.
Well,
when you
I
say
make my stuff.
I know that, but when you say in America my merchandise, that means you're a hooker.
It's another American thing. I have still learning my American. But yes, we were both out there selling stuff and traveling a lot.
Yeah.
And I've done it for 50 years, so it's. I have a lot of hotel stories. I'll go from worst to best, okay? The worst one was a hotel room, because back in those days, I was depending on AAA. They had a book, and you could go in and search any destination, and they would give you a list,
right.
and tell you how many stars and how much they were going to cost you. They had stars, I think, that told you how much. If it was 1 star, it was cheap. 2, not so much. 5 star, okay, forget it. I don't have enough.
Right.
So that's how I would get from A to B. And this one place I stopped at, they put me in this room. The door had been broken into. You could actually see where someone had taken a crowbar and opened up the door, and they wouldn't lock. And I went back to the desk, and I said, I'm not going to feel safe in that room. If I can't lock the door, I don't feel comfortable.
Right.
Well, I'm sorry, that's the only one we have left.
Of course.
And this was 9:30 at night, and I'm in a strange town, and it was like, what am I going to do? So I just barricaded myself as best I could. I put the chair under the handle. They did, things you see on TV.
See, they get that from somewhere, those things you see on TV.
Yes, you do learn something. But I didn't sleep particularly well, but I did get through. The bathroom was disgusting, and it was not a good experience.
No.
The best, I don't know. The fanciest place I ever stayed in was in Cancun.
Oh, wow.
Bradley had a friend who had a timeshare, and he never went anywhere, but he would rent it out to other people.
Right.
Which I thought was very smart, and maybe I should get a timeshare, but
right, no, that was a waste.
This place was marble. It was gorgeous. It was like a palace. It was everything with the walls, the floor, everything was marble. And yes, it was truly extravagant. But it wasn't my favorite. It wasn't cozy. It wasn't the bed was comfortable, but it wasn't.
It wasn't a
nice,
comfy, cozy place.
Yeah. Actually, one of my favorite hotels is in Vegas. and it's the Orleans. If anybody's going to Vegas, I recommend it. It's not that fancy. It's not, but the people were wonderful. It was very comfortable. It was just a very pleasant experience, and it became our favorite, Bradley and I, when we were selling kitchen gadgets. That's a whole other.
We could do a whole show on your sales.
But Vegas became a stopping point often because we were in California, and to get anywhere you had to go through Vegas. To get up to do Salt Lake City, for instance, you've got to go through Vegas. You go to Colorado, you have to go through Vegas. So we stayed there a lot, and the Orleans became our best one. But one time I got there, and I got there late because I had car trouble, and all the regular rooms that I got were taken. And they said, we'll have to put you in the executive suite.
Oh my.
And I thought, oh, this is going to be so great. It was horrible. It was so big. I mean, it felt like the size of Willow Hall.
Right.
There were 3 bathrooms.
Oh.
There was a regular, one with the seat and the shower, which is the one I used. There was one that was a jacuzzi, and there was another one. I don't even remember what that one was for. But there were three bathrooms, and across from that it was mirrors all the way down, so that you could have fit 6 or 7 people in there to fuss and fiddle. And the bed was.
Did you hear that? Did you hear that, everyone? You could have had 3 people to fuss and fiddle. That's the difference. You got to listen to Simone when she talks, because she comes out with these things. Did anybody ever hear that, fuss and fiddle? Okay, go ahead.
Well, titivate, is that better?
Well, most of the people here wouldn't understand. So.
Where was I? Oh yes, fussing and fiddling.
Fussing and fiddling, right.
The bed was enormous, and so was the room. I mean, the bed looked tiny because the room was so big, but it was actually, it was the king size. And then there was this huge room with a dining table that would have fit 10. There was a bar over in the corner.
And it was just you and Bradley? And
there was just me.
Oh, just you?
I was there all by myself. And it would echo. If you said anything, it would echo. The front was, it was glass, it was windows all across the length of this place. So when I went to bed at night, I had to go close all the curtains, because you've got lights flashing outside and all kinds of stuff going on. It was crazy. That was not. You think, oh, the executive suite, this is going to be cool, but it really wasn't.
Sometimes when we think about what we think should be cool, it's not. It's not. I don't like all that.
No.
See, we traveled in a motorhome, and we bought we pulled a trailer with a truck, and we went all over the country selling jewelry. And I don't know if he ever used it as a business expense, or I don't know what he did.
I would think so.
I don't know. We never really sold too much, but when you got out into the Ozarks, I mean, where people are really just sitting there plucking on guitars and playing fiddles.
Right.
They were the best customers. We had a stand in the flea market, and it was wonderful. But when you think back, now that we're talking about it, when you think back to all the things we did when we were young, and now they don't do anything. They just sit there like this. If they want to know something, they push a button.
Yes.
Nobody gets up to go and see anything. I went to my grandkids yesterday, and I took a picture of my grandson sitting in a chair with his feet up, and the baby over here playing with some toy, and the other 2 there with their gorgeous heads of hair, and they're watching something on TV with their legs up in the air. I mean, they don't. Well, these kids are active like in sports, so I guess it takes up their time. But nobody does anything. Nobody travels. Nobody goes anywhere. They can just.
I think they do. I mean, if you watch the news on a holiday weekend, everybody is traveling.
families
millions
maybe.
of people. Yes, because they're going to visit family.
Yeah.
But no, the travel industry.
All right.
Oh, quickly, one more.
Yes,
one more
go ahead. I'll
funny
let you
story
say.
about hotels, because I was
I just
in San Francisco, and I had this again by myself. It was a nice room, but
couldn't you get company? I mean, why are you staying in these beautiful hotels by yourself? What's wrong with you?
business. I'm traveling. I'm doing
It's a businesswoman. She's not worried about
craft
love.
shows. No, I'm not worried about that. I'm just selling my wares. But there was a door to the adjoining room, and I could hear everything that was going on in there. But he was speaking a foreign language, but it was really annoying and it was disturbing me. And I called downstairs and I said, do you have another room? Because, there's a lot of noise coming from next door. And they said, no, I'm sorry, we're totally booked up. You'll have to stay where you are. So she said, maybe tomorrow if you want to come down in the morning, because I was there for the week. I think it was the flower show. I did the San Francisco flower show. And so I'm thinking about this all day because I really didn't sleep well. And when I got back that night, I waited to hear the door click. And I went into the bathroom, I ran the water, I flushed the door, and started to pretend that I was on the phone. And I was saying some really stupid stuff, and I was saying it in a loud voice. Never heard a peep from the other side again. I wanted him to realize that I could hear everything he was saying and doing in there, and it was like he never existed.
And he was saying, what is that lunatic next door doing, carrying on with all this noise and trying to talk to me? All right, this one I picked next was an RV.
RV, and you were just
and
talking about that.
we were talking about it.
Yeah.
And I have to tell you that we really had a lot of fun. Camping people are a different breed of people.
Yes.
They're all friendly. They're all willing to help you. I don't think in all the years we camped, we ever met really mean or nasty people.
No,
Everyone was
likewise.
always willing to help, and the campfires at night, and then I don't know, do they still have an RV club here in the village?
Yes.
Well, we used to take trips. We went to everywhere together. I don't remember what. But when you think back about all the good times that you had where you didn't really need all this luxury and all this stuff, now everything pushes buttons. I would much rather go with, I tell my kids, don't text me. If you want to talk to me, I want to hear your voice. I can't stand when they start texting me and I go, beep, 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 don't text me, talk to me. That's what's missing in this country now. Nobody talks to each other.
No, I read a thing that the younger generation prefers that you text.
Yes.
Because then they can answer it at their leisure.
Oh.
If the phone rings, they're obligated to pick it up and answer.
No, not my kids.
No, it's not.
I mean, I'll call. I called yesterday my older daughter, and she didn't answer, so I got a little concerned, and then I called back, and she said I was watching a movie. Well, at least you could have picked it up and told me so I don't think you're dead on the floor.
No, I can pause.
I don't know. We're
pause
running
it.
out of time here. Let's find some more stuff
We
here.
are.
That's camping. We did that. I talked about that. Automobiles.
Automobiles? Well, that's easy. Everybody goes in an automobile. Try some. What else? Are we really running out of time?
I think so. It's after 11, right? Cruises.
Cruises.
Yeah, that's a good one. I like
yes.
cruises.
I like cruises. Yes, I've been a
You
few.
eat till you puke. You can eat morning, noon, and
You
nights.
can. You don't have to.
No, but it's there, so you're going to eat it.
Food
And
is
then
all around you. Yes.
everywhere you
Yeah,
go.
and it's all included.
And if you don't get seasick, which I've been very fortunate, and we've been on a lot of cruises, but an interesting cruise we took was in Europe, and we went to France and Italy, and then something that begins with a P.
It begins with a P?
P, I think. Whatever. But my grandson is now in Italy. He took a course in Italian cooking, an art course, and I don't know what else he's doing there. He's looking for a wife, I guess.
Oh.
But it's so beautiful there and so peaceful there, and the friendliest people I ever met anywhere were in Italy.
I had a nephew who was working in Italy and met someone and married her and brought her back to England.
Oh.
Yeah, they're very happy they have a little girl now.
Oh, well, I hope you
Charming
meet
people,
someone there, because the girls here are very snotty and you know, I don't know. Italy, the people are just, I mean, we stopped somewhere to ask for directions, it was a Sunday and they invited us in for dinner. I mean, you know, in France, we were in France and all they were doing, they were fighting in the street, couples were screaming. My husband and I had a big fight in Paris.
Oh, wow.
The young couples were kissing and smooching and we were screaming at each other. But we have those little
Paris, April in Paris.
April
is everything
in Paris.
They say it is.
Now I was in September. We always went in September. I don't know why. Oh, a bus. Did you ever go on a long bus?
The longest is about 4 hours.
To go where? Where did you go?
That was in England, to go from Heathrow down to my family. It took at least 4 hours, maybe 5. It was a long trip, and it wasn't the most comfortable way to travel.
Well, the bus trips I took were really to Atlantic City most of the time. But when I was young, and like 17 young, my girlfriend and I decided we were running away from home. And we had a friend that lived in Virginia, so we were going to her. So my girlfriend had money in her bank account, so she decided she'd transfer the money over to our friend in Virginia. And we had no money whatsoever, and we had to take the bus. And we had no food, we had nothing. So we would talk to soldiers or people on the bus, and we'd get enough. They'd give us a candy bar. I mean, we couldn't get any food, candy bars and chips and stuff like that. And because we called in the bank account, that's how they caught us. That her mother traced the money. Right. And that's how they caught us. And then my father, remember saying, "You better come home, you're killing your mother," you know, those kind of things. But so that was a very exciting kind of a trip to run away from home. I thought my kids would have done it, but they never used to come. They always came back. Yeah. You know. No, your daughter must have run away, I'm sure. She's still running away.
No. Well, we won't talk about
No, we won't talk about children either.
Keep it happy. But
so let's say one more little thing here, and then, because I think are we running out of time, people?
Buses.
Nobody's answering.
When I was a kid, we rode the bus. That's what we did to get around. I took buses to school.
Yes.
We change the bus.
We walked to school. I remember having 3 little children. My aunt lived in North Bergen, and I lived in Bergenfield. And I would take those 3 little children with shopping bags in each hand on the bus to go visit her, and think nothing of it.
Right.
You know, today, you're going to pick me up at what time? Oh, you know. So.
No, but today, I mean, look at New York. Everybody's taking the bus again. Yeah. So maybe busing will come back. They're a lot better than they used to be. Yeah. Although double-deckers were always fun.
Yeah, that was fun. Do you remember the double-deckers?
Yeah, absolutely. In England, there's double-deckers all over the place.
Well, you think we have anything else to tell these fine people? Would you like to close with a story of interest, or you just want to...
You rushed us through this because you thought we were short of time, but let's see.
It's okay.
The RV thing. RV, I actually came across 4 years ago. I came across the country in an RV. Oh. Because COVID was going, and being vulnerable, nobody in my family wanted me to fly. So we actually rented an RV and drove across the country. My son drove out there to get me, and then we came, and it was the worst RV. We came to the conclusion that they had given us the oldest one on the lot because they knew it wasn't coming back. It was really good. It was, yes, I'm certain of it.
Well, I don't think an RV is good if you have to really go someplace. You know, I mean, seriously, an RV
No,
is like...
I understand what you're saying,
Yeah,
yes.
for if you want to take a vacation, if you want to go for a weekend somewhere and just come back for the weekend, or if you get mad, you could go right in the lot and sit in it and just have a cup of coffee or whatever.
Yeah, but no, we had a good time. We stopped in a few parks. Most of the time we would stop in, you know, RV parks. And as you said, everybody is so nice and friendly and helpful.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, some people that live right here in the village, that when they get out and you get them in an RV, they're totally different people, because we had joined the club here and traveled.
Yeah.
So, okay, that's about what we have to say for today, I think.
Okay.
I think our time is up. You think so? I think we made it through today. And to all our friends out there, we toast you with
Happy
vodka.
travels, yes.
Happy
wherever
travels,
you're going,
and
enjoy it.
write us in about your travels, and we'll get it out there.
Okay.
Have a wonderful week.
Bye-bye.